Hey George, so a little bit about doing texture offset inside Rhino. Um, I'm going to use a fairly simple example to show you how to do it, and we will also cover a more advanced example. Alright, so I'm going to save this in your usual folder. Alright, so you've got this ring and you want to apply some sort of texture to the surface. Maybe, I don't know, I'm going to use one of the default ones in Rhino, and I'm going to show you how to make one. Alright. So the area that you're looking for it is under the render tools over here, and it looks like a little ball with dots all over it called apply displacement. So hammer it and then watch your command line. Your command line is saying select objects to apply displacement to. So if you click the hang on a second, let me join that all up again. Join. Okay, so let's run that command again. So if you now select this, it'll apply it to the entire surface of the ring. Alright, it'll work with a poly surface, so it'll actually attempt to apply it all the way around. You probably don't want to do that. You're probably only looking for this outside section. So this is going to be a basic example on how to limit it to just that surface, and I'm going to give you a more advanced example on, let's say there was just an analog area that you wanted to apply it to on this surface. Alright, so let's start with a simple example. So the first thing you would do is you'd run extract surf. Alright, extract surf, and you want to say copy equals yes. Let's grab that surface. Alright, so now we've got a double surface in there. We can invert and hide the rest because we've got just the surface we want to work with. Alright, so now let's run the texturing tool on that surface. Press enter. Alright, so this is the first time I've run it on this Rhino. There are no custom made ones on it. This is on our work machine. Alright, so the first thing you need to do is pick a texture. Obviously empty, click to assign. Self-explanatory. Alright, there's nothing in there, click plus. So desktop, more types. Alright, so you've got a couple of built-in ones with Rhino. The one I've been using is either wood texture or marble texture. There's a hammer texture somewhere on my computer, I don't remember where it is. So there's a couple of ways that you can get around this. I'm going to let you explore them. I'm going to use the one that I've posted some examples from online for this example for a ready-made one, and then we're going to build our own bitmap with another one. So I'm going to work with marble texture for now. Now we're going to click on OK. Alright, so what you can see on your screen over there is what this texture looks like. But you need to remember that this texture needs to travel around this ring multiple times, right across the surface. So if you can imagine that being stretched out across the length of this ring, it's going to look quite strange. Okay, I'm going to apply it just like this so that you can get a look at what I mean by strange. I'm not going to set any repeats in there. I'm just going to click on OK. Alright, the next point you need to know is what black point and white point is. We have a texture, two colors. How black point is high or low, or white point is high or low. I'm going to set the black point as being 0, and we'll leave it as it is. You can swap them around, doesn't matter. It's whether you want it inverted or not. Alright, so I'm going to set this a 1mm high texture over there is going to look just bizarre. Alright, so I'm going to make that about 0.1 mil. Alright, and I'm going to go preview. Alright, so you can see what's happened is it's stretched out. This may be what you're after. Okay, don't knock it if it's not right. This is a very stretched out texture. Alright, because it's that thing completely over all the UVs. Alright, which is not what I want for this scenario. So I'm going to click on edit, and I'm going to go into the repeat pattern. I'm going to put in there, I don't know, 10 times, and look what happens in your texture. You can see that now it looks very stretchy this way, but remember that it has to actually be stretched out across the whole length of the ring. Okay, now what's happening over here is it is stretching out, but our resolution on it is really low. Alright, I'm going to go back in, and I'm going to make it 5 times in the V, and remembering that this is just a preview. Alright, so now we're kind of getting what it is we're after. We just prefer a much higher resolution. So what will happen sometimes when you click on this and you go high and you go preview, you might get a fail. Check your command line. Okay, we haven't failed yet. Let's go again to very high preview. It's still not failing. Alright, well, what will happen is sometimes if you set that very high and you get a fail over there, you'd need to click on your advanced settings, go down here and increase the mesh memory limit. Okay, you'd like to say that I want I want to allocate more memory to the mesh that we're going to make over here. Okay, and I want to switch on fairing, which is going to average out for me. So let's have a quick look. Okay, so now we've got this dead-on texture, which is because our initial texture image is black and white. So you've got like this sort of lofted texture traveling around the ring. Be aware that if you use a grayscale, you're going to have a graduation on that edge. Alright, over here you can tell that it's dead on. Okay, so I'm happy with where that is. Let's try and max it out. Let's go extremely high. Preview. Now read the command line: displacement failed, mesh memory limit hit. Okay, if that happens, you just pop in here, double up the amount of memory you got. Click in somewhere else. I'm going to give it 2 refine steps and go preview. Still hit the limit. So let's go up to 256 megs. Remembering that you want to limit this to keeping it useful in your Rhino. Okay, and we still hit the limit. 512. Preview. 28%. 35. Okay, we're working Rhino. Rhino is saying not responding. Generally, that's a good. It's a good displacement mesh. So you can tell that on an extremely high setting, you're going to just go bizarre, alright, which we're not after. Alright, so let's go to just very high again, and let's go preview that. And it's just a texture. Bear that in mind. Okay, so what you're looking at there is, it's just a texture. Don't knock yourself out about it. And what we're going to do now is we're just going to go okay. Alright, let it finish making it. Okay, so that texture now exists on that ring. Everyone is happy as. Your problem now is going to come in, what happens if I need to grow this? Alright, because you'll see when you click on it, hang on a second, I can still see my isopawns. So to get this texture to be useful to you, when I mill it, it's going to be there, but if you're going to have it grown, you're not going to see it. Alright, so to get that texture, extract render mesh, extract point, idiot, Control Z, extract render mesh, extract render mesh. Alright. Okay, so now you have 2 articles in there. One is a mesh, one is a surface. At this point you can dump that surface, alright, because all we want, we've still got that surface on our original ring. All we want is this. Okay, so if you wanted that sticking out and this going in, you would have swapped around your black point and white point. Alright. I'd like to grab this mesh and do a bit of a soften on it to break those edges down a bit. Soften, whoops, smooth, sorry, too many CAD programs. I'm going to put a value of 0.8 in there, go OK. Let's see if that trims down our edges for us a little bit. Okay, so you can see what it's doing. Is it going to do it some more? Let's do it again. And let's do it again. This is because I use a texture that doesn't have a graduation of black to white. If you have a 16 color texture, it's obviously going to graduate those corners. I just want this to give me a more sort of sloped corner, so you can keep repeating that as often as you want. This is not the same as doing a smooth inside 3D coat. This is a destructive soften because what it's doing, it's averaging the points between the vertices. But for our all intents and purposes, this is fine for us. Now again, your problem is if you come to growing, this is no good to you because it's a single open mesh. If your person that's doing your growing has magics, they can sort it out for you. If they don't, you're in a world of hurt. Now what I'm about to attempt now might freeze the machine up, so just bear with me if I have to pause it. What you want to do at this point is offset mesh. Which way is that mesh going down? So we want to offset it. All we need is a solid. It doesn't matter how heavy or closed the solid is. Tick solid, tick a distance, and go OK. Give it a second to work. I might pause the machine while there we go, we're done. Alright, so as long as you have this, alright, a solid mesh, you can now bring it back to your ring. Alright, so let's show our ring again. Okay, and we would probably want to just tweak this, run a bit of a trim on those edges. I would probably just scale this in. Scale 1D. Whoops. Scale 1D from F4. Let's have a look. And just bring that inside our borders about there somewhere. You can be as anal as you like about this, or you can just choose to, I just want to see what that's like on those edges. Probably want to scale that in. Scale 2D from 0. Let's just bring that in a bit. Let's have a look at that. Okay, so that's now in our ring over there. You may want to trim it. Like I said, if you're going to be milling or you're going to be giving the job to me for milling, it doesn't matter. Just leave it as a single surface on the top there. The milling machine doesn't care. Poor suckers with growers, they got a problem. Alright. Okay, so let's move on to the next example that I was talking of. Let's dump that mesh. Alright, so you need to do a specific area of this, or only a specific. I'm going to just create some random geometry. Alright, I'm going to just, this is a ring, so we got this thing. We've got a sphere over there and another one over here. Let's pull that down in the ring and pull that down over there. Okay, so we've got this sort of thing going on, and we want to run a bit of a texture over only a partial area of it. Alright, so a lot of guys look at the meshes. People are laying out stones on meshes and they're wondering how the hell are they doing it. This is not brain surgery, guys. This is fairly simple, really. I'm going to create another sphere. I'm going to copy that from there to there. Alright, so we've got this thing going on over here, and we want a texture over just those sections of the 3 balls over there. So I'm going to, what you need to number 1 do is try and get this so you're looking at it straight in your C-plane. Alright, so like that's probably perpendicular to my geometry. Maybe that is there. That over there is perpendicular. Alright, so then in your viewport layout, set view to set view. There we go. So set view, where are we? No, am I right? Where's my C-planes? Oh, there we go. C-planes. Set C-plane to view. Previous. Set C-plane, set C-plane, set C-plane, set C-plane. There, set C-plane to view. So what that's done is just changed your C-plane in the background so that when we do a drape over here, we don't have an issue. Alright. So I'm going to do a drape for now. And do a drape over. Doesn't matter how big. Oh, shivet. It doesn't matter how big or how small your drape is. You just need to get it over the area you want. Alright. And then we're going to invert and hide. And then just with a curve, just grab an. I'm going to grab whatever is. Hang on, I've got to pause this quickly in a second. Okay, so George, you just walked through the door in the video that I'm making for you. So okay. So anyway, to select. So we've got this over here, and we want to do just a partial area of it with a texture. Okay. So I'm going to just hold my Alt key down so I'm not snapping onto something. I'm going to draw this curve going over that section. Okay, I'm just going to set that to ghosted so we can find our curve. Where's my curve? Cell curve. And project onto the surface. Alright, so we're going to take that surface and we're going to split it with that curve. Alright, and dump this. So now we have a surface to work with. I'm going to just set my view back to, how do I reset my view? Reset my view. Reset, set. No. Anyway, doesn't matter. So this would be the guy that you take into your rendering tools at the moment and do your texturing on. So let's grab our marble texture and let's go preview. And that is wildly big. Alright, so we want to bring that down to 0.1 and preview again. Alright, so we've got the marble texture thing running over there, but in this case I think we need to go even a little bit smaller. Okay, so I want to go on very high and bring our texture down some more. Alright, so I'm going to take the texture down to 0.05, preview, and possibly what I need to do is just spread out the UVs. So in this application there's too many UVs. We go back into edit and take those UVs down. Take that down to about 2 and this down to about 1. Okay, alright, so there we got 2 and 1 was a little bit too little, so let's go back in and take that up to 3 and 2. And there we go. So we've got this bit of marble texture thing happening on just that area. Alright, so just go OK. Oops. Let's go OK, let it create it. So you can dump this and whoops, and extract the render mesh from it. And now you can dump the surface. So that render mesh, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to offset mesh. Offset mesh, same values as last time. Go OK, whatever. Alright, so now you're going to show everything, and you've got this texture applied to the surface of your ring over there. Alright, so that's just how to control it over just a limited part of your ring. That same trick can be used for when you're working with a mesh that you've imported from, I don't know, from wherever you've bought a mesh, or you've created something in ZBrush and you want to lay stones over it, or you want to use a rhino splop on it, or whatever you want. Drape is your friend. Okay. Alright guys, so I hope that was useful. You all have a good day. Cheers, Chris out.